I hope to convince you that women's leadership matters. We do matter by the numbers. All right. We make up more than 51% of the population. We have been the majority on college campuses since 1988. We now earn more than 60% of bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, and almost half of all law and medical degrees. When you look at the workforce, we make up almost 50% of the workforce and more than 50% of professional level jobs. We make up 60% of the nation's college-educated entry-level positions. Yet, Americans lag significantly behind when it comes to representation in leadership positions. In Fortune 500 companies, they make up less than 5% of CEOs, about 19% of executive officers, and we hold about 25% of the board seats on boards of the companies. In some fields, the numbers are even more staggering, and this is the healthcare field. We make up 80% of the labor force, but just 15% of executive officers and 12% of board of directors. In the financial services industry, we make up over half of that market and just 12% of the executive officers and 18% of boards of directors. We are similarly underrepresented in government, and this is what we do at the Catt Center. We hold just nationwide 24% of the seats in the state legislature, and just 6 of 50 governors are women. In 2015, women make up 19%, a little over 19% of the U.S. Congress, with 20 women in the U.S. Senate and 84 in the House of Representatives. This is a record high. This is the most we've ever had in Congress, yet it ranks as 76th in the world when we're compared to other democracies. What about Iowa? Well, we've got 16% of boards made up of women, 22% of executives of public held companies, 25% of privately held for-profit businesses, and just 28% of elected officials. So why? So what's the problem? Well, one of the problems is the lean out. You've heard about lean in. Lean out is where women basically stop or slow down their careers to take care of their family, and that diminishes the ranks of women who can serve in leadership positions. Stereotypes also impede the advancement of women. The lack of women in leadership roles fosters this perception that women do not belong in these positions or professions. In the political world, this means that they're less likely to run for office, less likely to be encouraged to run, more likely to be discouraged from running, and more likely to consider themselves not qualified to be in political office. Some cultures are cultural. There's a double bind for women, that we embrace these certain attributes for leadership, like assertiveness and confidence, but women also want to be likable. So that's a double bind for women in leadership. Other barriers are structural. We have this increase in working hours over the last 30 years in the US, and that's marginalized women who set aside time for their family. There's also this assumption about the ideal worker who works all the time, again, disproportionately affecting women with child care needs. So, why should we care? Research shows that women's leadership matters. The more diverse workforce that you have in leadership, it improves operational and financial performance, increases innovation, and enhances a company's reputation with clients and consumers. Research also shows that having more women in public office at the local, state, and national level basically increases collaboration, bipartisanship, consensus building, and problem solving. It leads to public policies benefiting women and families, and it makes government bodies more transparent and, yes, less corrupt. So what can we do? Here's some ideas for business. Some of you may have heard about reciprocal mentoring or reverse mentoring, which basically pairs usually male leaders with females, and it increases the visibility of internal talent in the company and also breaks down biases. Also collaborative mapping that basically provides equal opportunities for stretch assignments, promotions, networking for men and women with similar capabilities. Certainly self-care by having things like fitness centers in the workplace, and then also flexible work hours and family support. To increase the number of women in elective office, we can encourage and ask more women to run, support candidates with our time, voices, and money, and vote for women candidates. We need to understand that women's leadership is just not a matter of fairness. Women's leadership also has the potential to move companies, governments, and societies in new and better directions.